Stay there for a minute. Just step back. Look at the mess. If you were in any of our kitchens, you'd been fired 6 months ago.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Remember that one girl in high school that everyone hated but was still constantly the center of attention? I'm talking like classic mean girl. Now, while I highly doubt that anyone had to deal with anything as extreme as Regina George from Mean Girls, I think we all knew someone or a group of people that were just a nightmare. And whether you were a reluctant friend of this person or a fearful classmate or even just a victim, it's always been kind of a mystery as to why this person maintained so much popularity. I don't know about you, but when I went to high school, there was like different categories of popular girls depending on which clique you were in. There was like the sporty popular girl, the trashy popular girl, the country popular girl, the artsy popular girl, and the academic popular girl. And I spent most of my high school career fighting for the title of the artsy popular girl, as well as the reluctant friend of the academic popular girl. I was just a theater kid, and becoming a popular theater kid is not difficult. You just have to be in every play and flirt with all the nerdy theater boys, which are two things that I was very good at in high school. So yeah, I was the most popular theater girl, which is like...
That's like being the smartest kid with Down syndrome.
In Montana. It doesn't really mean anything. And theater kids kind of have their own little hierarchy and drama that's completely different from the rest of the school. And trust me, it does not compare to the drama I faced while being friends with the academic popular girl, or even some of the drama that I'm dealing with today in adult life. When I was in school, everyone was basically competing for the most likely to be successful title in the school yearbook, you know, those like superlatives. Everyone wanted to be claimed most successful. I feel like that is where our like popularity hierarchy schemed. Our popularity hierarchy like revolved around. Our popularity hierarchy revolved around that title. Okay. You remember the movie Booksmart where those two nerdy girls find out that everyone who was like partying all throughout high school and like was a bully and whatever, that they were all also getting into Ivy League schools, and so like all of their dedication to schoolwork didn't actually matter because it turns out they could have just been partying the whole time and done just as well in school. I feel like that's the high school movie that most closely matches my high school experience. Like, all the popular people were the people who were good in school and did a shit ton of partying on the weekends. The most popular girl that I can think of when I was in school was the girl who was in all the honors classes. She did speech and debate, she went to her church youth group, and then on the weekends she did hard drugs. But enough about high school. That's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is what happens when these people who are mean girls, bullies in high school, what happens when they entered the real world? Does their like constant aggression, their passive aggressive tendencies, their use of backhanded compliments, does that give them a leg up in social circles in adulthood? And do their high school achievements, their high school popularity, does that translate into real life? No, not really. I've been doing a lot of research on mean girl behavior lately because I've been dealing with my own little mean girl situation at work. And looking back, I've actually dealt with quite a few mean girls without completely clocking it at the time. I've just never worked with this many mean girls in such a tight space. I work in a coffee shop right now that's literally like 8 feet by 5 feet wide, and most of it is just counter space, so we're constantly bumping into each other, quite literally. And yeah, I've just never had to deal with this many mean girls before. There's usually also been someone like on my side that I can like confide in and be like, oh man, she sucks today, huh? And they'd be like, oh yeah, I feel ya. But not in this case. I'd say out of the 9 girls that I work with, 1 likes me, probably 3 are neutral about me, 1 just hates me, and the rest could turn on me at any moment. My anxiety loves it. And obviously I have some self-esteem issues that I'm working through and I'm trying to figure out and be better about, but I've been finding a lot of interesting information about the psychology of mean girls and how this mean girl behavior continues into adult life. To start off, let's talk about relational aggression. So relational aggression is a concept that came up a lot in my research. Relational aggression is a type of covert bullying that uses social relationships and manipulation manipulation to harm someone's reputation or sense of belonging in a social circle. And a few examples of relational aggression in real life are exclusion, giving the silent treatment, and spreading false rumors or secrets. And this is all textbook mean girl behavior, and I feel like everyone has experienced this type of behavior in one way or another, whether it was in high school or, you know, now in adult life. But it seems like a lot more people are sharing their experiences of encountering mean girls in adulthood. And when looking into this topic, I found it kind of difficult to find like specific examples outside of my own. I wasn't so much finding other adults sharing like, oh, this happened to me and I considered it bullying, but more like, here's how to recognize when you're being bullied and here's how to like put a stop to it. And yeah, I guess mean girls are just alive and well, and more people seem to be dealing with them on the daily basis and need advice for it. Remember that whole mean girl to nurse pipeline thing where like a lot of people began to recognize this mean girl behavior, especially in nurses, or maybe even that all of the mean girls that they knew in high school were suddenly becoming nurses. So what I want to know is, why is it exactly that so many people seem to carry this mean girl attitude from high school onward? So one thing that I found was that if children begin using relational aggression at an early age, if it's gone unrecognized and undisciplined, essentially, they'll begin to see it as an asset for maintaining their personal relationships. And you've probably noticed by now that I've been referring to the topic as mean girls rather than just bullies. This is because the problem seems to be far more ingrained in female communities rather than in male groups. And while of course there are plenty of adult male bullies, men are far more likely to harm each other physically or with outright verbal aggression than women are. Women, however, are more likely socialized to downplay their anger and aggression, while all other emotions are fair game. Young girls are often disciplined for aggressive outbursts, not only by their parents, but by their peers as well. Little girls will often throw out the threat of, well, you're being mean to me, we're not friends anymore. And rather than fight or assert themselves, a lot of the little girls on the other side will end up conceding to their friends. And so the result is a lot of girls growing up learn to keep their opinions to themselves, and then they never learn to communicate assertively, and they don't end up developing strong conflict resolution skills. I definitely feel this one. I'm not very good at like asserting myself to my friends when something's wrong. Like I would rather just like I know it's a bad thing, but I keep it inside and I kind of let it like build up, and I end up being mean to them in kind of a low-key way. Like I don't talk to them as much or whatever. It's something I'm working on, but like I'm definitely guilty of that. And I also remember, for an example, when I was little, having a friend over for a play date, and she always wanted to play with our new toys, but she would never share. I remember having this little toy car to drive around the house, and she would ride on it for what felt like hours without letting me or my sister have a turn on it, and it was like, it's our toy, bro. And whenever I would say something like, hey, give us a turn, it's my toy, like you've been on it for an hour now, she would be like, fine, I guess I'll go home then, I'm getting bored anyway. And you know, I wouldn't want my friend to go home, so I'd just let her keep playing on it until she got tired of it and like let her have her way. And obviously that's not the same as what we're dealing with today in adult life, but this does explain why mean girl behavior is so covert. Like, so many of us were socialized to not address our grievances outright, so instead we opt for more manipulative and secretive tactics. And as I briefly mentioned, if this behavior isn't addressed early on, it will likely continue into teenage years and then into adulthood. And that's because a lot of these girls are finding early on that relational aggression is an effective tool for just getting what you want. And in high school, many of these girls begin to discover that using these covert tactics can help them in achieving status or popularity. For example, by spreading a false rumor about a classmate or a friend, a girl can uplift her own social status while lowering the social status of another girl. And this is also influential in friend circles. By holding on to secrets of each friend, the mean girl can essentially use the secrets as currency, right? So if one of her friends does something she doesn't like, she can use those secrets against them. And we've seen this like countless times in movies like Mean Girls or Heathers. The queen bee just always has a way of knocking her friends down a peg. Which brings up the question, why would anyone be friends with her? Like maybe we get it in high school, right? Like we're learning our social skills, right? Like you don't necessarily stand up for yourself when you're in high school because you're so worried about your high school reputation, right? But like in adult life, it's pretty fucking weird that we're all just cool with someone being a jerk to literally everyone and everyone's still nice to her. Well, this is because being the reluctant friend of a mean girl is often a lot safer than the alternative. Going against the queen bee brings the risk of having your own secrets revealed or even just becoming shunned socially. And the same goes for anyone outside of the inner circle of the popular group. No one speaks up simply out of fear of becoming the next victim, which is like exactly what I've been dealing with at work. There's this one girl who is absolutely fucking terrible to everyone.
Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast?
For no reason, and most recently me, and I have no idea what her problem is, but she fucking sucks, dude. Like, silent treatment, check. She will refuse to talk to me until everyone else has left for the day, and then maybe she'll talk to me. But sometimes she won't even talk to me for the full day. There have been days where I have needed to ask her something for a customer. Like a customer asked me, do you have ice cream today? And I go, hey, do we have ice cream today? I'm not sure. Because she's been there longer for the day, so she probably knows. Or like she's next to the refrigerator so she can see the ice cream, that sort of thing. And instead of answering me, she will push me out of the way and go to the customer at the window and be like, oh, what is it you need? Oh, ice cream? Yeah, we have ice cream. Like, bitch, you are making our job harder. We could have done this so much faster if you had just told me, yes, we have fucking ice cream. Like, why do you have to be such a dick about it? She apparently also talks about me behind my back. And I don't know what she could possibly be saying behind my back because she doesn't know shit about me. I don't tell her anything because I hate her. But the other girls at work are always telling me like, yeah, she's always talking shit about you. Like, she totally hates you, which also not helpful. Not something I need to hear. Like, I know she hates me. I don't need to be like...
Did you gals hear about Allie Gallagher? She let Alan Ackerman smack her in the back with his tallywhacker behind the snack shack. What?
Like, why do you want to make me feel bad by confirming the fact that she hates me and she talks shit about me? I don't need to know, alright? I already had a feeling, now I know for sure. Great, now I feel worse. Thank you. But lately she's been bullying someone else at our shop, which like really sucks for that girl, but her attention isn't on me as much. Also, our schedule changed a bit, so I don't have to see her as often, which I'm just super happy about, honestly. She'll still say like all this passive aggressive shit to put me down for absolutely no reason. Like the other day I said to one of my coworkers, the one that likes me, I was like, hey, I hope we get more shifts together when the schedule changes. And the mean girl was like, yeah, I doubt it. Like, bitch, I was not talking to you. Why? Okay. But anyway, like, this crap has gotten a lot easier since I made a friend, and I've also found out that most people in the shop also hate this girl. They just deal with it for whatever reason. And that's why I've been learning about all this stuff, right? Is I'm trying to figure out why the heck all of these other girls are just putting up with it. Like, what are they so afraid of? I guess that they're going to get bullied just as much, but honestly, it's like, if we all kind of stuck together and stopped taking her shit, maybe she'd stop or quit or something, at least like simmer down a little bit. I don't know, but I've been trying to make it known that I don't really fuck with this girl. Like, I'm not gonna be mean to her or anything, but I've tried to make it like apparent, like, we're not friends. I'm not gonna talk to you unless it's for work. Like, we can be casually civil, but that's as far as it goes. And I've also been trying to let the other girl who's currently being bullied by her, been trying to let her know, like, hey, I don't like this shit. Like, I don't respect this girl at all. If you ever just need someone to talk to or like need someone behind you, it'll be me. And it's really stupid what she's getting bullied for. She set her TikTok account to private, and now none of the other girls at work can see her TikTok. So naturally, we hate her now. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole story. Everyone's fucking mad at her now. So now half of the shop has been giving her the silent treatment and refusing to help her with work stuff. Isn't being a girl just so much fun? And I also don't like this girl very much. She's kind of rude and a mean girl herself, just not as extreme. But like, I'm not gonna start bullying her about it. I just don't care that much. It's like, it's a job, dude. We didn't like, we work at a coffee shop in Kalispell, Montana. Who cares if you're the most popular girl there?
Yeah, you're the coolest fucking guy at Shenanigans. Woo!
But even so, this girl who's currently being bullied is trying to like secure her place in the hierarchy a step above me. Like, she thinks that she can like put me down and like maybe get a better spot. Like, I don't think she's gossiping about me or anything, but she does all these little things to like make herself the center of attention. Like the other day I was talking to a customer and we were just talking about her day and like the weather, and she was saying, oh, I can't really get anything done today because like the weather's so crappy. It's been raining all week, but I want to go outside. And I was like, yeah, well, enjoy it while it lasts. It's gonna be hot, whatever. And my coworker steps in front of me to talk to the customer, and she's like, you know, there was a grizzly bear attack in Glacier Park the other day, the first one of the year. And me and the customer were just like, okay, because like, what does that have to do with what we were talking about? Like, you're not joining in on the conversation. And I tried to like link the bear thing back to our previous conversation where I was kind of like, oh yeah, well, I guess, you know, that means that it's summertime, right? But at that point the customer had kind of checked out of the conversation because like that was a weird fucking thing to do. And I know you might be thinking, Sienna, come on, she was just trying to like be a part of the conversation. She wanted to be included. Like, she didn't mean to be rude. And you know, that's another really fun part about being a girl and experiencing this kind of relational aggression bullying is you can't really explain the type of weird shit that people do to you without sounding like a jerk yourself. Like, have you ever tried telling a boy that a girl was being weird to you? Trying to explain, oh, when she said that, she wasn't being nice, and they're just like, no, they said a really nice thing about you. And it's just like, no, she was being fucking passive aggressive. You don't speak girl. Trust me, I know. She was being fucking rude to me. And they're like, no, you're overreacting. You know, that sort of thing. And I think that's a big reason as to why the adult mean girl thing is such a fucking problem, is their aggression and bullying is so covert and manipulative that you can't even explain it to someone else so that they can intervene. What am I going to do in my work situation? Tell my manager that my coworker keeps interrupting me to make me look bad in front of customers? Like, no, she's not, like, that doesn't, I can't even say it in a way to you that sounds legitimate. Like, it sounds stupid. You had to be there in order to understand why it was so fucking weird. And so mean girl behavior is often really difficult to identify, like, especially as an outsider looking in. Here are some of the most common relational aggression tactics that I was able to find when I was looking into this. So number one is exclusionary behavior. And we've already talked about this one, and it is fairly obvious. The silent treatment and general exclusion are really good examples of this. Like, if someone refuses to acknowledge you after you've already acknowledged them, they're trying to hurt you. This happens to me all the time at work where I'll say hi to everybody and they will just fucking ignore me. Love it. Another tactic is like inviting everyone in a group to some sort of social gathering but not inviting you. And the best part is a lot of the time they'll do this in front of you so that you feel shitty about it. Great. And this also can happen conversationally, like asking everyone's opinion about something except for you. Oh, and one that really fucking annoys me, I'm like, I know it shouldn't, but oh my god, it gets on my nerves so bad, is when someone is showing a picture on their phone to everybody and they show everyone except you and you're like right there and it's like, I don't even want to see your fucking picture, but like, stop being such a bitch, dude. Next one is gossip. Obviously gossip is an issue, but I feel like adult mean girls are really clever in the way that they disguise their gossip. One tactic that I've seen for starting rumors in an adult group is addressing gossip as if it's a legitimate concern. This is otherwise known as concern trolling, which is where the bully will say something like, oh, I'm really worried about Sienna. Did you hear that she's fighting with her boyfriend? And then they'll go on to like spread some misinformation based off of like something they heard somewhere. If that, they might not even do that. They might just make shit up, you know? Another method that they use for gossip is undermining compliments from other people, right? So for example, if one person says, oh, Sienna looks so pretty today, the bully might say, yeah, but I heard she got lip filler. And it's just a way to like downplay the compliment and be like, well, she's not naturally good looking, so The next method of bullying is hijacking conversations. And I kind of touched on this with my example with the grizzly bear. Bullies basically always want the positive attention in any social situation to be on them. They want to be the center of attention. And so if for whatever reason you are the center of attention, they have to find a way to steal that from you. So they might do this by interrupting you, by discrediting you, or just like having a random outburst so that it distracts people from you. The next method is covert hostility and gaslighting. And the reason that this kind of bullying is so harmful is because they're able to hurt you in plain sight without anyone else recognizing it. And many mean girls achieve this by giving backhanded compliments or attributing their hostility to humor. They may say something like, "Oh wow, you're so brave to go out without makeup," or "Your boyfriend must really loves you if he puts up with all that energy you have."
I love your beard. I hope I can grow sick facial hair like that when I'm a crusty old Debbie like you.
And then if that comment doesn't land, if it's obvious that it was supposed to be mean, they might say something like, "Oh, it was just a joke." Like, "Oh, you don't get my sense of humor yet. I was just trying to be funny." You know, like, obviously they weren't trying to be funny. They were trying to be a dick, but they don't want anyone else to know. So they have to cover themselves with, "Oh, it was just a joke." And then if you ever try to confront these types of comments, they'll often try to flip the script or even gaslight you in order to convince everyone else that the whole misunderstanding was your fault. They might say something like, "Why do you always think I'm being mean to you? Do you really hate me that much? Do you really think I'm that bad of a person?" Which brings us to the last tactic. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. Victim playing. So victim playing is used by all sorts of bullies, mean girls, narcissists, the like. And it's really a way of shifting blame off of themselves in order to avoid accountability, as well as gain sympathy. So rather than ever own up for being a scumbag, they act like your decision to set a boundary or call out their behavior is an attack on them. And so overall, I think we've learned that mean girls and bullies in general are just childish losers who never learned how to make real friends. And I know that sounds harsh. It may not be their fault, but the fact remains, you shouldn't give shit if you can't take it. Personally, I know how much it sucks to deal with bullies at work. Like, we're all adults. Why are we still dealing with this petty shit? But the truth is, a lot of people just don't have anything else going on in their personal lives. They go to work, they go home, they watch TV, they go to bed. So they're often bored and friendless because who the fuck would like them or even pretend to like them if they're such an asshole? So the only way they know to bring something different, bring something new and exciting into their life is by starting stupid drama about nothing. Being able to sit around and talk shit with their coworkers is a lot better to them than sitting alone at home thinking about how boring their life is. If you're dealing with an adult bully in your life, just remember that the most important thing is not to react. Pretend you didn't hear them or even ask them to repeat the bullshit that they just said, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't think I heard you right." It's actually a really good tactic against that kind of bullshit, and at the very least, you might stop them for a day. It's also important to remember not to share anything personal with them, and don't engage in any gossip that they have to share. That's where they get their sense of purpose, that's where they get all of their excitement. If you don't give anything to them, they can't use it against you, and they can't use it against others. And if you are friends with a person like this, no judgment if you are, we've all been there, but just remember anything that they're willing to share with you about someone else, they're also willing to share about you to someone else. Remember that a person who constantly needs to be the center of attention will happily throw you under the bus in order to receive that attention. And friendship based on hating other people is not true friendship. You should have so much more to talk about with real, genuine friends. And then real friends won't be jealous of your success. Real friends will share your happiness as if it were their own happiness. So if you're stuck in any sort of weird relationship like that, you feel like you have to be friends with the mean girl at work in order to maintain social standing, I'd love to chat with you, maybe help you out with it. I've never been the type of person to not never, but I've gotten really good at setting boundaries with people like that. I just cannot stand asshole-ish behavior, and I will call it out when I have the capacity to. I'm still working on it because I'm a nervous wreck, but when I can, I will say something, especially if it's for another person. So yeah, if you're dealing with anything like that, feel free to reach out. I would love to chat about it and maybe figure out exactly what could make the situation better for you. But yeah, I'm Sienna. Thank you for being here. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And most important of all, don't be a little bitch.